G'day, legend. I think we are live here, so that's a good thing. Welcome. It's December. It's summer. Footy time. We do love a bit of fantasy footy at this time of the year. This afternoon, my little inbox lit up with a notification, and I got myself all of the positions for 2022, which is very exciting for, nerds like me that just love this, and it means a bit of a start of the work because all the back-end work will begin now where they can ingest all the players, work out all the prices for Fantasy Classic, and get all it set up for a launch in the next few weeks. So I'm excited about that, and looking at content. We've got a fair bit coming up. We're very excited about that. So the first part, I guess, the first piece was this afternoon. So if you haven't checked it out, afl.com.au for the article on some of the positions. And, geez, there's a lot going on. There's a fair bit we went through. So you can check out that article now and ran through a lot of the things. And I think the big ones were the forward line. That's where we are definitely in a different position than what we have been in the past. So I think each year we lose a couple, but the numbers were incredible. So out of the top 10, only three, top 10 forwards, only three exist now as forwards, but we did pick up some others. So some of the big names there, Dane Zorko, the highest averaging forward. He is now a mid only. Some of those other guys that were floating in there is Josh Kelly, Isaac Smith, Dangerfield, Hunter, Nat Fyfe. I thought he might have held forward status, and Scott Pendlebury as well. So we lost those guys as midfielders. Jack Zeeble and Aaron Hall, as we probably very easily predicted because they both gained defender status last year, that they just defender only after their roles, and Hall especially, he could be one of the big defenders. You've got the rucks like Sean, Darcy and Rowan Marshall had that ruck forward status, which was very handy. They've gone. But the good news is that we did gain some, and I think probably one of the big ones, this crew is fairly big because they've all averaged well over a ton before. And I'm talking guys like Mitch Duncan, who I like a lot. He was an interesting player. He was flagged during the year to gain forward status, which I was interested in that because I'd seen him take kickouts, and I think he roams and floats. But as Champion Data does with all of these, it's all based on their starting positions during the game. So he clearly must have been over the 35% threshold as a forward. So he's there with the Giants boys there in Cornelio and Taranto. Now, Cornelio might be interesting for some coaches. Some have almost might have a never again list at times, but with forward status, hello. But also Tim Taranto, that's just massive. I think he's almost a lock for me with what he can do as well. So it's going to be, draft rankings are going to be interesting. Treloar is another one with the forward status. Dunkley holds it after last year as well, so that's handy. So those, Bevo, maybe he does not do nice things to us at times with his players and our fantasy players and the roles that they play. But it's gained us this year, Treloar, and held on to our old mate there, Dunkley, because he's a gun. So some of the other names that you do have floating around that stayed there, side bottom wing guard, Taran Thomas, who is a good pick for this year, I think. Shea Bolton, Dusty, of course, and so there's a fair bit going on. A couple of players that lost defender status, and that's number 1 and number 3 on the list of highest averages, and that's Rory Laird, who was a pure mid, and so was Callum Mills. So those guys won't be there. So that'll be interesting to see what that comes out like. So here's a little document. I'll open that up because this is the exciting thing. Excel. Here we are. So this is our list of players, and we let's go through these. And I've had quite a few questions pop through on Twitter, so I'm going to try to start there, and then I'll get into the questions in the comments here on the Facebook Live. So let's go in and have a look at some of these guys. Laddams was a question. Now, I'm pretty sure Laddams he's a ruck forward, so that's still handy there to hold that status for those people. I probably should have mentioned him in the article there in hindsight. Rightio, Connor Nash for Cam. So let's have a look at Nash. Connor Nash, he's a mid-forward. Keeper league coaches are probably big ones in a lot of these questions as we roll through them. Right, Breno has a heap. Bianco. So Bianco is a forward. Tom Powell is that's Will Powell. Tom Powell is a mid-forward for the North Melbourne Tom Powell. Warner Chad is a mid only. Flanders, I'm pretty sure when I looked at him, he is a forward. Yep, there he is. Eli Smith could be very cheap and mid-forward status there for him when we look at him as an option, I guess, for Fantasy Classic, I'm sure. Seb Ross, pretty sure he'll just be a... Jack Ross, where are we? Sebastian Ross is mid-only. Narkle, let's go there, and he's a mid-only. And Menegola, I'm glad some of the commentators aren't trying to type that in because they had a few extra letters, and that's midfielder. Tom Power did there, rightio. For Urban Infinity, we've got here Shane Edwards. So Shane Edwards is mid. We've got Nash Powell. Shield is mid only. I would have definitely looked at him. Dylan Shield. Lambert. Kane Lambert forward status. Luke Edwards. So Shane, Harry. Luke Edwards is mid only. We've got Akers. He is mid only. Perryman. Some of these lists here are long that I'm getting through. Perryman is defender, straight defender. Flynn, I think he's just straight ruck from when I looked at him. Yep. Golden, well, Errol, and he has forward status. There we go. All right. Daniel did ask, could we pick Tom Brown? Yeah, so we've got the pleasure of trading Tom Brown out of the squads later. Well, Tom Brown, he won't be the basement price either. So Tom Brown, this is for the draftee for the Tigers. Where are you? Ooh. Went past him. GWS Melbourne, Ben Brown, Tom Brown is defender. There you go, if anyone wanted to know that. So thanks for people jumping on here live. We do have a few questions popping through, so I'll just try to get to those as they are going there. Latham said him and Warner. Jed Anderson, yeah. So Jed Anderson's got forward status, so that was in the article. I think he is someone definitely that we'll be watching this pre-season a fair bit. So we'll be getting into our club previews. They'll happen after Christmas. So when we get to the North Melbourne one, which will be first up, Calvin will be up and about with that one because I've deliberately given him that one. He'll be excited about him. Jordan Dawson, he is a straight defender. The Warpedo is 99% straight mid, yeah, because I would have talked about him, I reckon. Now, Jordan Clark is just a straight mid as well, so that is a bit disappointing. Where are we? Jordan Clark, yeah, straight mid, so the wing. I guess that's what made that happen for him. Will Brodie is a good one because I will be up and about when we start talking about him. Brodie's there, mid-forward, so very nice for Will Brodie. Make sure you check the article on the AFL website because it does list quite a few players. Probably missed a few that were relevant, but I had to do it nice and quickly because I knew people would be as keen as I am when we look at. So, yeah, lots of great stuff to look forward to with AFL Fantasy this year. I'll be finding out a bit of stuff over the next few weeks, I hope. And we'll be, revealing some stuff on our next podcast. So tune into that. You can subscribe now. It's been nice to see a few people having us as their most listened to podcasts for the year with their Spotify Wrapped. So that was nice to see popping up on social media. But we'll be back. Hopefully by Monday you'll have something new to listen to in your ears. And I've got to get Calvin working hard because he's had his best year for a while last year. And I think that I don't want him to rest on his laurels. He needs to keep that going as well. A couple of last questions here. Graham is asking, is Dawson value as a defender in the Crow side? Yeah, I think so, and he'll play that wing. It's going to be interesting to see how they're lining up with that, so what that means, like for Shoal, for example. That's stuff we'll definitely be talking about on these upcoming podcasts. Horn Francis and Dacos. Yeah, they're straight mids. I thought Horn Francis could have been a mid-forward, but that's what he is, depending on what they do. So Dacos has talked about playing as a defender, and that's what his role might look at and moving into the midfield. So he may pick up defender status during the season, and then Horn Francis could be the same if they use him as a half forward as well. So, but they're both straight mids to begin with. So interesting for our Fantasy Classic starting sides. Lots of cool stuff coming with Fantasy Draft as well, especially for Keeper Leagues. Obviously, we had year one of Keeper Leagues, so all of that stuff will be coming in, and a few little tweaks to the game from what I'm told. So, Sean Darcy, he is straight ruck. So, unfortunately, doesn't have that ruck forward status that we would have liked him, and Rowan Marshall in that position that we might have liked there, but Laddams does have that. Last one here. Any news on when it'll open up? I don't know yet. Hopefully, I'll be told at some stage so I can play my life, especially, day off work to have a day playing with my fantasy team. But no, we'll let you know as much as we can. But we'll have some content coming out over these next couple of weeks as well, leading up to Christmas. So we'll have some stuff there, a couple of podcasts and some other articles. Now we've got some positions. That's some stuff. I think Roy is working hard on some early draft rankings, so that'll be a fun one to check out as well. Thanks for jumping on and tuning into this, and we'll be having a bit more of a dip coming up over the next coming weeks. We'll see you whenever we see you next. Thanks for tuning in. Head to afl.com.au for plenty of off-season news, but also for fantasy stuff as that rolls through. More news coming soon. Yeah.